Simon & Schuster Audio presents an Inner Traditions audiobook. The Occult Elvis, The Mystical and Magical Life of the King by Miguel Connor, read by Jez Sands. Prologue. If I Could Dream. How It Started. Vernon Presley stepped out onto the front porch for a cigarette. He lit up and walked into the small yard, pulling his coat tighter around his body. Sweet Jesus, it's cold, he thought, and that wind is like a whip. He could see his breath as it swirled with the wild air. But the break was nice, and so were the sounds of nature, like the rustling leaves and the distant complaint of eternally invisible coyotes. The January winter night was clear, though, granting a view of the neighbourhood of wooden houses interrupted by daisy pastures and stripped gum trees. What waited beyond were the cotton and cornfields of East Tupelo, and a lot of poverty as the Great Depression continued to eat the dreams and futures of the common folk. He glanced back at his home, the little two-room shack in Meager, Mississippi. He could hear Gladys moaning in what had been a long labour. Twins, she said. They couldn't even afford a hospital delivery. Twins. At least his mother and the midwife, Edna, were here to help, and then Vernon would rush to get Dr. William as soon as the babies were ready to come out. Everything would work out, he told himself, again looking at the scenery, even though nothing had really worked out in Vernon's life, from jobs to friends to his ideas. The good Lord would be as good as the cigarette he was having, as fast as the winter wind that was... The wind? Where had it gone? Silent. Completely silent. Not even the howl of coyotes. Instinctively, he turned toward the house and froze as if the temperature had gone so low hell had frozen over down below. A blue glow surrounded the house. It was soft but pulsing with confidence, almost liquid. The light was not from this world, he knew immediately. What was going on? Sweet Jesus, he mouthed. Vernon Presley barely realized he had dropped his cigarette. He barely knew how terrified he was, and didn't notice his legs moving desperately. Vernon entered the shack with warnings ready in his mouth, but his mind was abruptly washed with more shock as he was greeted with heat, blood stench, and Gladys's screams. He forgot everything, except being in the static present. Every time he tried to talk, he could only grunt. Sounds punished his temples. Get the doctor! Things are breaking! We must pray, Vernon! We must pray! Forget, the voice told him, and Vernon felt it was coming from the blue...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?